Welcome to the Automation Unplugged podcast, the podcast for technology professionals, featuring leading industry personalities. I'm your host, Ron Callis.
Let's get started.
Hello there. Ron Callis with another episode of Automation Unplugged. Automation Unplugged is brought to you by my day job at One Firefly, as always. And we're going to jump right into it today. I've got an industry veteran. You know this person. You've probably seen him at shows, seen him on stage, seen him speak or in webinars. He's just a powerhouse entrepreneur. I think you're going to quickly learn he's also rather humble in his approach to life and business, but he's running a business that is incredibly impressive. So I look forward to jumping in. Today, I'm bringing you John Carter. He is the CEO of Powered Solutions and Multimedia Solutions right out of Farmers Branch, Texas. So let's go ahead and let me bring John in and we'll say hello. John, how are you, sir?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I am good. When we were talking pre-show, you admitted to me, you're like, Ron, I don't do this very often.
No, this is my first podcast, actually. So
first podcast? Awesome. Well, I think you'll find I don't bite, and this will be pretty fun. It'll be pretty easy. John, just for our audience, tell us a little bit, give us just a snapshot. What is Powered Solutions and what is Multimedia Solutions? What type of projects do you do and where do you do those projects?
Multimedia Solutions is the older company. It's been in business since 96, 83, and then I own it since 96. It is your low voltage automation, home theater, all that kind of stuff. Powered Solutions is a sister company that I created about 4 years ago, and it's all electrical, high voltage. So I feel like that our markets we're missing somebody that cares. The detail in automation and a low voltage company, automation company, carried over to a powered company. So that's the reason why I did it.
On the multimedia side, what's an average project, and then what's like a small project, and what would be like a big project?
Oh, man, the average project is still, the whole house. We do all the wiring in house, so we start to finish. Meet the clients, do all that. So a small one's probably about 5 to 10 grand if we're doing wiring only or something like that. And then they can get all the way with equipment, 25, 50. We just finished a project that combined both companies, Powered Solutions and Multimedia Solutions. Just finished it last year, and it was about 3.5 million for the job. So there's a range. It just depends on the client.
That project type, I'll just call it, I'll put a category, call it 1 million plus. I mean, do you guys do you do 10 of those a year, like a couple of those a year? Is that every few years you'll do something? Because that's a big project.
Yeah, the 3 million part, yeah. We were getting them. We did another high fence ranch, but it was only audio video down in West Texas. And we did it, and it was probably 2.5. You don't get a lot of them, right? And there's certain clients that just want to do it. But since I started the electrical company and we're swimming, I call it swimming upstream, just doing nothing but high end stuff. We're starting to see a lot more. It's not out of the question. We just did recently. I landed 3 jobs that are over $1 million just in electrical. Right. And that's before lighting, before design, before anything. This high voltage only in there. We've got budget numbers for things, but I've got a couple of projects now. We're doing another one that's going to be probably a little bit over 2 million. And then a little baby one that'll probably be low 9s. So, we're starting to see a lot more of them.
I'm curious. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but you mentioned the electrical business. Was Powered Solutions born or conceived to by design to do the electrical in the projects where you are also doing the AV? Or do you go and you'll pursue different projects and different relationships with those businesses?
Originally, that's what my thought was, right? Is to be able to marry them, right? I'm getting to the point where I don't have to marry them. I don't. It doesn't have to be, because I mean, there's a lot of AV companies out there, and there's a lot of great companies in Dallas, right? Dallas, Houston, and Austin, right? And I've always told a builder, if they're unhappy with a group, or let me rephrase this, if they're happy with a group, don't come to me. I mean, don't leave a guy because you're trying to get a number or something like that. You got a lot of good people out there, but if you're unhappy, let's talk. Right? The electrical, I wanted to bring the detail in the audio video world to the electrical, because the majority of your electricians just want to get in and out. They want to turn and burn the house. They're looking for the next house, right? I rather the way we work at Multimedia Solutions is we educate, right? We're not hard salespeople. That's not what I want my guys to do. I don't want them overselling anybody. I want them to educate the client what's out there and let them pick. What I'm taking that over to the electrical side, because electricians, again, just tell me where you want to put it is what they want, instead of somebody educating a client and going through the process with them. There's so much more. The goal for me as an owner of these two businesses, I want to own more of one house than more houses. Because I mean, if you think about it, if I'm selling a $500,000 AV system, right, and then I got a $500,000 electrical job, man, that's $1 million in one house, right? So why do I want to chase more real estate instead of just combine on the real estate that you're doing, right? So that's the goal. I think it's been very successful so far for us. A
Well,
lot of
I'm
work.
there's a lot about the electrical side I don't know. I know that I don't know. So I'm going to ask a clarifying question. And that is, I perceive that on the AV side of the business, you can operate that business at higher gross margins on service and labor, well, labor and hardware. And on the electrical side, I think I've heard anecdotally that those businesses operate at lower margins or thinner margins. And what's the big differences of how you run company A versus company B? I mean, are they similar or are they very different? And does that lead to you managing or running the business differently?
I mean, they are similar and they are different. I know that's just like a yes or no. That's one phrase I hate, right? Is yes and no, right? But yes, they are.
This is a long form podcast, so you can
Yeah,
explain.
yeah. So they're yes, they're yes and no. Getting into it, I was naive, right? I thought it was going to be just like it's pulling wire, doing whatever, right? Um, I happened, I actually have a partner on the electrical side.
Okay.
He's a master electrician, been doing it 30 years. Um, he's not like I started interviewing other masters, and going through this process, there's people that take the test and get their masters, right? And then there's guys that really know their industry. This guy knows his industry. Very humble guy, very country guy, just a good dude. I was doing multiple high end AV jobs with a real high end client builder, and he was always there. And I'm like, hey, dude, we need to do this, right? So he ended up getting irritated at his other company that he was at. They changed hands, ownership, and so he decided to come be with me and start this. Um, so the margins are lower, right? I mean, there's no, it just depends, but the realm that he played in, right, was he did a lot of jobs where they were hard to budget. So he would do time and material jobs. Well, a lot of our issues that we have in our industry, right, is you're bidding a job and you're taking a lot of the guys times you're taking shots in the dark, right? You're like, oh, I'm going to do this type of labor for it and everything like that, but you don't know what you run into, and sometimes your labor's great, sometimes your labor's not so good, right? So I didn't know about the time and material when I asked him to join me, right? That helps, but we also play where we bid the projects out, right? And I've found that if you are better at what you do, right? You're a higher end electrician. Your attention to detail. I mean, again, if you look at these jobs, and a lot of people like pre-wires where all the lines are straight and everything's good. If you do that in electrical and you show these guys that it's really you're taking your time and doing it, they'll pay you more. They'll
Mm.
pay you more because they want the quality. They don't necessarily want the running around and all that. I think that the electricians have diluted the market, right, and not maybe took pride in what they did per se, maybe, and I'm not
So they
meaning a
sold
bad way.
a lesser product for less,
Yeah, I mean, I
but if
think
you
they just let
deliver a higher quality product,
right,
you can charge more.
they let the builder drive that, right? And you do that because you see that in production and you see that out there. It's about the bottom line, close out the deal so they can the builder can make whatever they need to make on the deal. So we're not swimming in that realm, right? We're going up to the high end stuff, and they want attention to detail. They want all that stuff. So it's been a very high, and you'll still get it though. You can still get builders that say they're high end, they're doing it, but then they're still pricing it out kind of like a project for a real high end track house, right? So you'll still see that, but we've built relationships with people and starting to build relationships with people that know that the quality that they're going to get with us is uh, hopefully the best out there. I mean, but we have great electricians. There's about five really good, great electricians in the area, right? And again, I don't want to be the guy that dilutes the market. I want to just fair price, fair service, right? Is what it is. So
I, I'm going to ask a bit of a nuanced question, but the topic of digital lighting and just lighting design, fixtures, all control is it's a quite popular topic with a lot of people I talk to. And so I'm curious, either across multimedia and or across powered solutions, um, are the projects that you're getting involved in, are you typically involved in the design and specification of the lighting in those projects? Or do you sometimes you are and sometimes you're not?
sometimes you are and sometimes you're not, right? A lot of architects, really nice architects in Dallas, right? They already have lighting guys that they deal with, right? The lighting specifiers and all that. So I don't rock that boat. I can offer it for any client that needs it, but it's not something that we don't lead with that, just because we've got to figure out if that person's already on there, right? You don't want to burn bridges with any lighting designers or architects or anything like that. So we don't lead with it, but it is something we can do if they need it.
Yeah,
But will work with anybody on that.
got it. Makes sense. We're recording this show. We're giving a little show secret here. We're recording this before CEDIA, but it's going to come out after CEDIA. I'm curious, are you or any of your team going to go to Denver this year? Are you guys going to go to CEDIA?
Yeah, we're I'm only going three deep this time. Normally I go I mean I think at one time I took 30,
I was
right?
to say, I've seen you bring some crews to that show.
Yeah, I did that. I think the again, this goes back to being learning as you go, right?
Yeah.
I brought a real CFO in to the company at November, and she has shown me how to look at numbers way more than I've ever learned how to look at them, right? And it's like, well, you don't need to spend this kind of money to go there because I mean, it's a when you were sending 30 people, all right, you weren't really picking the 30 deserving people, right? You're just picking everybody. And in my group, God bless them, they like to have fun. And I used to do that myself. I wasn't very good.
I've been there, done that too,
I
John. There's no
wasn't leading
shame.
by example, right? I was leading by example, but it was the wrong example I
It
wanted
was
to
the
lead by,
wrong example.
right? So I
Yeah.
was the biggest kid in the crowd. So yeah, we're going three. One of the guys that's coming with me is only this is his second year with me. Um, he I call he you would he's on the electrical side. He's my service manager, and he's about 26, and he's like one of these unicorn guys, right? He's just awesome. Just what you would want your son to grow up to be, right? And he's that young kid that's eager to learn and all that. And it's just that's so hard to find in a young person sometimes these days. And then I'm bringing my COO, right? So yeah, I think that we are being more diligent on how we spend our money and how we want to. We've got a lot of big plans for the future, and we're trying to set our company up for success to do that.
Got it. So translation is a little more conservative in this fall season with Cedia.
Yeah, I mean, plus, I mean, I've really been disappointed in Cedia the last couple of years, right? I mean, ever since COVID, right? There's not a lot like they don't bring out a lot of new stuff. I mean, you're seeing like the same stuff. They're taking a while to turn things over and all that. You're seeing all your buddies. I mean, to be totally honest with you, I get more out of going to ProSource, right?
Yep.
And talking to them guys and then meeting my guys that I'm on a text thread with at a remote location to talk to business. I get way more stuff out of that, right? Than they go look at product that might come out soon, might not come out soon, or it's already been out 9 months and they're just showing it to me. I do like seeing the vendors. I do like seeing my friends. But as something that is better for my group long term, that's probably not where I need to spend the money.
Got it. All right. Well, we're going to circle back to ProSource, but before I do that, I want to go back into your background and just hear the story if you're willing to share it. Feel
Okay.
free to go back as far as you're willing to go. Tell us how
All
John
right,
Carter landed here today, this mature entrepreneur that's fit and running one of the larger operations in the country. Where
man.
did
I've got
John
you
come from?
all fooled. Man, my dad started. My dad's started the company as a security company. It was called Carter Communications. He worked for his background was cable TV industry like Comcast and all that, right? So he he came we moved we lived in Georgia. I grew up in Georgia until my middle school. I'm a big Georgia Bulldog fan, and that's probably the only them and the Braves are the only ones I kept from my childhood. Everything else is Dallas, unfortunately. Yes, Micah Parsons got traded. We already know this. um yeah, Jerry Jones. Whew. So I during the when I was younger, he would do like cable boxes and stuff, and I would put the chips in the cable boxes. Like just he would give me money. I would get these little plastic sleeves of chips, and I would put them in the cable boxes so people could get their cable channels. So I did. I started doing that for a while, and then he started this company to do security, and we were doing all of our businesses in the Loss Cleanest Association area. So it was they had their own monitoring station and all that. So we did all the wiring, and all the custom builders wanted us to do the wiring of it and everything like that. So my dad did that. And I remember during high school, on summertime, I would just go work with him, pulling wire, going underneath houses, digging trenches. I remember him dropping me off, and a, um, I would dig a 150-foot trench, right?
Were you at least getting paid?
I was getting paid. I was getting paid. I mean, I was getting, yeah, yeah.
That
If
was
you wouldn't
positive. That
call
was
it
at
paid,
least, at least
you wouldn't
dad
call it
paid
pay
you.
now. But yeah, I was getting paid back then. It was money, right? So I would do that, and I mean, some of the Los Colinas dirt is some of the hardest dirt it is, right? So it was just really you. It would take you forever to dig this, and you're not using a trencher, right? I'm using a spade shovel, getting it in. It was just summertime in Texas heat. It's not very cool. So that was my life, right? So
Oh yeah.
did that. When I graduated, I went. I kind of was working at a different job. That job didn't work out. So my dad offered me to come work for him. Me and my dad. I love him, but we don't have a great relationship, right? I used to get fired every day I worked for him, so man, I didn't agree with him, and I'd get fired, and then my mom would hire me back.
How big
So
of an operation was that company that your dad was running? That business was called, what was it called? It was called Carter
Charter
Communications?
Communications, I think at their height, maybe it was 10 to
Okay.
14 people, right? Is what it was. And then, so my parents adopted 4 kids, right? So, but I was already in high school. I was already out of high school, whatever, when this happened. So, my dad got he would be in and out of the, owning a small business and dealing with clients and stuff, I think it kind of frustrated him with the
It's one of the more
personalities and
stressful
stuff.
things anybody
Yeah.
could ever choose to do.
Yeah, so he got to the point where he was done, right? And he got offered a head of construction in Denver. So he packed up the family and moved to Denver. And me and Jen, my bride, just got married, and she was working at the office as an answering the phones and stuff because her job when she came back from our honeymoon, they eliminated her job. So she came and worked there. So he went and did that and left us running it. So when he left us. It was me and two other guys with her in a public storage facility. She wasn't at the place. She wasn't at the public. She was at a remote location. But me and the other guys were at a public storage location. We ended up we did that for a little bit. We ended up renting an office. So we finally got our first office. It was one office. In a track office place, old carpet, and it just one big room, a bathroom, and a warehouse. Is all it was, right? So you had 3, 4 desks in there, and you did that. So did that, and then about that time, I wanted to buy my first. I wanted to save more money. I was making $30,000 with my dad, right? So I went, and my brother-in-law got me a job. He was a warehouse guy at Circuit City. So I went and worked at Circuit City as an audio sales guy, right? So people that know me, and I don't know if they know it now, right? Is I had to go up to a room and I don't know anybody. It's like that's not something that I'm comfortable in doing, right? Self
You're a little
confidence
more
issues.
introverted. It's not your comfort.
Well, yeah, I'm introverted in a certain sense, right? But I think I guess you could change that a little bit. And I think I've changed it a little bit. But just bringing up brand new conversations to people was hard. And man, going to Circuit City was the best remedy for that, right? I mean,
Wow.
because that's all your meeting is people walking up to you and you selling stuff. And what it was doing is they didn't have install. So I would get jobs from them. These people want to buy these speakers and stuff like that. And they're like, hey, do you know anybody can sell them? I'm like, well, matter of fact, I do. I can help you out with that. So I met some good friends doing that, right? And so we did that and did that. I worked 7 days a week for 2 years straight.
Wow.
I made $30,000 with my dad, and I made $30,000 with the Circuit City working. So I worked Monday through Friday with my dad, Friday through Sunday at Circuit City, and so I did that to save enough to buy my first house.
Wow.
So we bought our first house. The company started growing a little bit. Um, I used to do a company called Standard Pacific Homes. We did more track homes at the beginning, right? So I did
This is
that.
still with Carter Communications?
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, we in '99 we switched it to multimedia. So I never really liked the Carter Communications because what would happen is like the Mike Tyson fight would happen, and we get a bunch of calls because they think they're called Charter Communications, right? There was a company called
Ah,
Charter, and they were a cable TV provider. I have never been cussed out so many times when somebody can't watch Mike Tyson fight. It would be on the voicemail of our office. So we had to get rid of it. So I did. I picked out Multimedia Solutions because I didn't want to pigeonhole me into like custom home theater store or whatever. I wanted to be able to
nice and broad. You could
right.
do whatever
I
you
want to
want
be able to
under the
do
name.
multiple things right for a house.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we built our first. I don't know when it was, but I built an office building not too far from ADI. I bought a lot, built my first building, and then I was there about 5 years, and then kind of grew from there. Um, I got one story too. So I used to do Standard Pacific stuff. So a lot of people know me because I've done a lot of toll stuff, right? I've done toll in the state of Texas for almost 30
Like tolls
years.
on the highways?
Toll Brothers.
Oh,
Toll
Toll
Brothers Home.
Brothers. Okay.
Yeah, Toll Brothers Home. So I've done their stuff when they were smaller here, right? I got in with them a long time ago, and I guess this story is you never know what's going to be thrown your way because you can 25 cents can get or 5 cents can get you a big job, right? So story behind the Toll Brothers is that I worked for San Pacific Homes. One of the builders left, right, and went over to Toll Brothers, and they weren't happy, or he wanted me to look at something. and look at, because he couldn't get response from the existing company that was there, right? So I go out there and I look at it, and he's like, "Man, I can't get this window to work." So I go, "Okay, let me check it." So, and I was a technician at the time, right? I was technician selling, doing whatever. I was out in the field doing it. So I pulled the contact up. They had twisted the wires together and stuck it together with bubble gum. And that's how I got the Toll Brothers account, which ended up being, to this day, a multi-million-dollar account, because one, somebody else's tech put a bubble gum on a contact connection to a wire.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, and Toll Brothers is, to this day, like, I'm a loyal guy, and I don't go seek and track business, right? I don't. That's not my forte. Toll's always been somebody that's allowed me to talk to clients and deal with that, and it's always been a good account for me. They're kind of changing the way they do business now, which is, it's shame. But that's how I cut my. That's how I got in Austin and Houston. They have asked me to go down in these other areas, right, to do both of these. It took me 2 times going to Austin. I went to Toll one time in Austin, and it didn't work out, so I pulled out because we weren't making money or anything like that. And then I went back in when they asked me to go back in again. And then when I was in Houston, I found out it's actually found out at Cedia one time that I was getting they wanted me to go to Houston, and that's where I hired my guy that started the Houston location in Houston that year to go there. So they kind of grew from there. Started doing,
What year are we at right now?
man, I want to say been
It was a
2
juicy
years. It's
little
about two.
pivot that happened.
That's right. Probably 2015, right?
Tell
It's
me
what it
about what
is.
happened in 2010.
Okay, you're gonna make me go back now.
Make you go back, backtrack, walk it back.
2000. I mean, I think I learned a lot of stuff about in 2010. That's when the bubble, right? It's when all this things hit. So,
I was on the backside of the Great
right.
Recession.
I was probably about 15 to 20 employees in Texas, um, in Dallas, right? And so being a owner of a company and being that you don't have partners, I've never had a partner except for the electrical side. It can kind of get lonely, right? You can't ask people questions. I kept to myself. I didn't have anything. So I got to the point where I didn't think I was the leader for our company. So I was looking for a payday or anything like that. I sold the company, right? I sold the company to a company that was trying to buy, I guess it was almost like I wouldn't classify it as a Bravas per se, but he's buying different like types of companies like ours.
Was it
Um,
industry M&A
yeah,
sort of
it was kind
roll-up
of the
thing?
industry, but it was more commercial driven, right? More than residential driven. So he was doing that. It was a guy out in Evansville, Indiana. So they taught the game. I'm like, okay, let's do this. I was doing $1.4 million in business. They were going to pay me $1.2 million of business, 1.2, and it was. I told them to stretch it, right? I told them to stretch it out. They pay me out a little bit, and they were going to keep me on for like I was making 200 grand a year, right? As the running the business, right? And they were going to pay me in installments. So they paid me my first installment was like 90K, right? But right off the bat, they quit. They didn't pay my employees, right? They didn't pay their payroll. They didn't pay their health insurance. They didn't do that. So I took that 90K and paid all that for them, right? And this lasted for about 9 months. And I
Sounds like
went
they
through.
were reneging on their deal they
Right.
made with
I
you.
mean, dude, I don't, I'm a handshake guy. I'm a word guy and all that stuff. So I take people for their word. And something was off from it to begin with, right? Like they had us go to a sales meeting, and they wanted to talk about sales leads that they had, right? So I'm sitting in this meeting, and it's me and another guy and one of my other guys, sales guys, and we're sitting there, and we're in this group of people, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, let's talk about, I guess people call them pipeline, right? What is in your pipeline? What you got going on?" And you had guys like, "Well, I got to end with Disney." And I'm like, okay, well, and I'll turn around, I'm like, oh man, that's cool. How did you get that? And he goes, man, I just called the reception there and I'm becoming friends with the receptionist. And I looked at my buddy and I'm like, dude, how in the F is that a lead? That ain't nothing. I mean, and they would do this, and like they had a lead for Flying J, and the big the truck stop place, right? And it's the same thing. Oh, I know somebody over there, right? And it's like these aren't leads. I don't like one thing with my company, right? Is I don't like forecast. If I only put when I put my forecast in, I'm pretty sure I'm getting a job. It's not something I'm just throwing out there, right? So I don't believe in fluff numbers, and that's all that thing was a fluff number deal. And I was just like, what the f? Yeah, I don't want to cuss. I'm a big cusser, but I'll try to keep it down. Um, so I go there. We're walking away, and I'm like, man, this is not good. So then they did it again. They didn't pay payroll. They didn't do anything. This is like when it was right
Oof.
over. And so I flew to St. Louis to meet them. It was kind of like mafia style, right? I was in a hotel room. There's 5 people around me, and I'm sitting in this chair. I feel like this is light there's on me. I thought I was being
Interrogated.
interrogated, right? And they're like, "Hey, you with us?" And all that. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm with y'all. If y'all just pay your bills, right? Just pay these people." I didn't do this. I was looking. My self confidence was like I didn't know if it was meant to be the leader for this group. I wanted to give my team the best shot possible. I didn't. At the end of the day, I mean, I wasn't wanting the 1.2 up front or anything like that. I would just pay it out, whatever, right? So we're sitting there, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm with you." So I get that 90 grand check, I cash it, and I shut all the doors, quit sending them the checks, and I paid all the money that people were owed, and all these guys are staying because of me, right? These guys are looking at me, and I'm like, these families and all this other stuff, and I'm like, dude. So that was really tough, but that's not what screwed me. What screwed me was the fact that I trust people, and they wanted to keep my tax ID number, because if they changed the name of the company or did something with the company, the tax ID would go to zero, so they would lose their credit. I would lose my credit at all the vendors. Well, John wasn't very smart. Again, my background, I went to junior college, barely showed up to class, didn't do any of that. So most of my stuff is hard knocks learning, right? So,
Sure.
so we found
You're
out
doing
that
something right with the business you're running
yeah,
today.
well, it's on. I give all the credit to the people that I'm just I feel like I'm one of I'm just the head clown in the circus, right? I got a lot of people that really care and all that. So come to find out, they had they had accumulated about $500,000 worth of debt.
Oof.
They were using my accounts because they had good standing accounts for their other companies where they guess they didn't have good standing accounts, right? I did not know that until after I pulled the plug. So another story from that, right, is I'm a big foxhole guy. Who's going to be with me? I look at vendors as I want us to be partners. Who's going to be there when the storms are? I'm an upfront guy. I'm not, and so I went to my vendors and I'm like, hey guys, this is what's going on. I'll do what I can to take care of it. All this other stuff. I didn't have any money from any of the sale or anything like that, because I mean, I only got 180 grand from it, and it all went to payroll and all that stuff. I didn't buy anything or anything like that. So I owed 80 out of 100 grand, and I owed Wesco 10 grand, and and I was friends with both guys. Probably more friends with the Wesco sales guy than I was with the ADI guy at the time. And so one day I would tell him, I'll pay you, just bear with me. Well, one Friday, the Wesco guy called me and literally berated me, and just yelling at me, screaming at me on the
A
phone.
sales guy or somebody in the office?
It was the head of accounting. And it wasn't my buddy, because my buddy wouldn't do that, right? And he goes, and my buddy was always cool by it, right? He wasn't getting commission on it or anything like that. He understood what was going on. I was up front, showed everybody contracts and all that stuff. So he hit me wrong, and I went and found the 10 grand and paid him the 10 grand, and I told him I would never buy anything from him again. And then the ADI guy worked with me. He's like, dude, just tell me what it is. I mean, I owed him 10 times the amount, right? So the branch manager worked with me and all that. and ended up doing next year. I ended up doing $1 million worth of business with ADI, and that didn't do anything with the other group. And now the old branch manager is the guy that runs my Dallas branch manager. He's my Dallas branch manager because he got tired of being with ADI and all that back in the day.
Wow.
So he works with me now. So once I feel like I'm a number to somebody, or once I feel like it's not a give and take relationship, then that's pretty easily you can be out of my inner circle at that point. Because I mean, I believe in doing life with people, and I'm not a number, and I'll never be a number. So, so we did that. Expanded.
So did you the brand? Did
Uh-huh.
you restart or start a new company, or were you
No, I paid off all the debt, right? I didn't have to. I sent them. My lawyer sent them all the stuff and everything like that, and I didn't have to take anything back. I left the tax ID what it
Okay.
was. I had to pay it off anyway, right? So it didn't really matter.
So you had to pay the debt incurred, and then you were able. Those
Yeah, I
guys,
paid
those
everything
people were
that was owed,
gone.
right? I paid all. I didn't leave any. That's one, man. It doesn't. That's one thing. If it's a debt of mine or something my company has to do, I will do my best to take care of it, right? And do
Yeah.
that, because at the end of the day, that it's unfortunately, as a business owner, you get a lot of your worth out of your company, right? So if I'm not the guy I don't want to ever screw anybody over, customer, a vendor, anybody, right? That's not, or a teammate. That's not my goal, and it'll never be my goal. I want to sleep at night. I don't want to do any of that. So that's not something that I'm going to ever do. But yeah, we just kept on the same team. I didn't lose anybody during it. I mean, we were all young at the time, right? We are all young. We had kids. I got 2 daughters, and it was 2010. So I would have had a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. No, it would have been more than that. It'd been 8-year-old and a 2-year-old girls. So, I mean, it's like, man, I'm a Christ believer, right? And I've probably never been a lot of tears, a lot of praying to get out of it, right? Just get me out of it. I'll do better, right? But all that stuff. It was
Wow.
definitely a humbling experience doing it. And then looking at your people, knowing what you're going through and all that stuff, right? It was tough, right? There's a lot of pride in that, and trying to figure out, because my worth was tied into it. I didn't feel very highly of myself at the time, right? Because you're letting your team down, even though they're not saying it, right? Because they're I've got such good people, and they'll be there for you whenever you need them, right? But I'm the kind of person that never wants to ask, right? I never want to ask people to be there for me. I want to always be the person that's there. I don't want to be somebody. I have a hard time getting accolades or anything like that, because I don't want that. I want to give it to my team, the people that made it possible. It's not me at all. I mean, I was joking about it today. We do these days we do an all hands meeting, because that was one thing my CFO wanted to do. My new CFO, she wanted to do all hands meeting. So we do all hands meeting at the end of every the Friday of the last Friday of the month. And today was our word was our why, right? So we go around there's a lot of people that talk, right, and say their whys, and I kind of broke down my why, and my why was to be able to, I don't look my teammates, me being, again, I laugh. I think God put me in this position so he can just laugh at me, right? Watch this. Let me see him squirm, whatever, right? Or do whatever. So I'm sitting there, and my why is I look at my teammates, right? As I'm not responsible for I think we're like at 85 heads now. We were at 110 at one time. We're restructuring. We're doing a bunch of stuff to try to be a business, not a hobby. Um, my why is their family, right? And my family, right? If they win, I win, right? And it's not just them 85 people. Yeah, I mean, you're talking that's 400 something people, because they got kids, right? And all this stuff, and that you're responsible for. And it's a lot. And I don't want to screw that up, man. I don't want to mess it up with my family, much less 400 people. I mean, it's kind of humbling when you
T-
think about it.
Tell me about I know from a few years ago or some time back when you and I were chatting, maybe at a show, that you guys had expanded into different states and you were doing work on the East Coast. You were doing work in Denver. You were, I mean, heck, you guys seem to be everywhere. And I know from dialogue that you've pulled some of that back. Can you kind of geographically pulled some of that back to Texas? Can you kind of take us through that journey and that decision making to pull things?
Yeah, I did. All my stuff was all my other stuff out of states was multifamily, which we do a lot of multifamily stuff. I hooked up with I had a designer, and a really good dude, and he's still a friend. That would recommend us for jobs, right? So I got a call one time, and my first job I ever did was in Tampa. Um, and I'm like, I'm a guy that doesn't say no. I'm going to figure out how to do it. I'm going to give him a price for it. I'll do the job as long as you can meet what my budgetary needs are for the job. So I did it. I mean, I thought we were making good money. I mean, at the time, I don't, being a company of our size, right, can hide a lot of flaws, right? You have so much revenue that's coming in, right? And you got so much revenues coming out, right? And I'm going to be honest, we didn't look at numbers and know numbers, right? Or understand numbers until almost a year from now. A year from this date, right? When our new CFO came in, right? We had a CFO that did it, whatever, and she said, "Oh, you can't spend here, you can't do this, whatever." It never ended up being we never got numbers like looking at budgets, looking at
Sure.
this other stuff, going back and looking at your cell phone bill. My CFO found $3,000 that we were paying a month on cell phone bills that nobody was using. And
Wow.
it's like I did not I, I'm learning a lot, right? I know more about numbers now, right? Again, like I said before, I was running this business as a hobby and not a business, right? It was you could do whatever you want. You go, the sky's the limit, right? Disposable income.
So did you
So,
ultimately say no to those types of projects once you better understood those numbers?
well, I didn't. Well, what happened was is that I did all these jobs and everything like that, and it was starting to get hard to find people. Like finding people these days is kind of hard. Any good people. I had some loyal people that did it, but then they being that I didn't have offices in these other areas, you had a guy from Florida that was traveling up the East Coast. So I did projects in Atlanta, I did projects in Florida, I did projects in South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I would do all these projects, right? And these guys would travel. I mean, it would do quality of life sucked, right? And they're always they're 10 days on, a week off, or something like that, right? But at the end of the day, it's not worth the 10 days on to get the 7 days off because you're away from your family.
Yeah.
So between that, the tipping point was Denver. I had an office in Denver, but dude, finding people that work in Denver, God bless y'all. It is the I went through people. I was paying people good money, man, and I had a I had a the Denver what became the boiling point, and I said enough, was I had a big project. It's a $1.2 million project we're doing in Denver, and we do access control, right? So in Dallas and majority of your states, you can submit plans and all that, and then you can then you get it approved by the city, and then it's good, right? And in that time, if you change people or anything like that, it's okay. Your plans are submitted. It doesn't matter. It's tied to your company. Well, I paid my head guy in Denver went through. I want him to get the license because in Denver it goes by the person, not by this company. Even though the company is the one that's responsible for it all, it's
Wow.
tied to a person, right? So I paid for this guy to go to class and learn this good stuff. He had to take the test 5 times. He finally passed, right? So he passed, submitted these plans in Denver. And again, submitting plans in Denver for access control, you're looking at a good 2 months before they turn the plans, right? And that's it. That's before they respond to you the first time to flag you on all the stuff that you got to fix, right?
Yeah.
Well, that happens. He does it and everything like that and submits it. The next day, about 3 weeks later, he decides to steal from me, quit, and just leaves. Right. Well, what happens is that we're on a time crunch, right? So the city of Denver would not allow somebody else to pick it up. So I had to resubmit it with somebody else. I had to pay a third party to resubmit it and do it. It took another 2 months. In that time, I had to pay for two security guards to stay at the premises, and they liquid damaged me for $130,000. And I was like, and these were supposed to be again supposed to be my friends, right? Me, I build relationships with these guys, and they were like, "Yep, ain't much I can do." So I paid the 130 grand, and that's when it started. I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. I could give two craps about this place now. So I finished my last project there. Um, Man, I've still got a guy there that he's finishing up some stuff for me and stuff, and whether or not he's going to decide whether or not he wants to be with us and do design and stuff, or he might. I got some other guys that are chomping at the bit that would like to talk to him too. So, but he's a really good dude. So
Wow.
learning process, right? And it was very I felt like it was very unfair. And again, I became a number to that group, and that number does not they're not in. I still do business for the company because I have a great relationship in Texas with them. But I'm not going anywhere else. I'd much rather stick my resources into the electrical company and owning the three Dallas, Austin, Houston locations.
So you mentioned 80 plus people on staff. You have a 20 million plus dollar revenue business. We don't have to get specifics, but it's a large operation. And what would be advice, John, that you would give younger entrepreneurs in the space that are listening, whether they're listening or watching? What would be a couple of pieces of advice that you'd give them that would lead to higher probabilities of success?
Man, if I would have found my people before, I mean, my people meaning I belong to the Bang Text thread, right? These are all entrepreneurs all over the country, and there are some smart dudes on it, and I'm in awe of that they allowed me on it sometimes, right? And what I give to them compared to what they give to me, right? They've made me. That's one thing is I ask my team when they're wanting to hire somebody or they're having a discussion about a person. I ask them to ask one question, right? The question is, does this person make us better? Right? Do they make us better? And that group makes me better. And I mean, Mark Fisher, like I said, I kept to myself forever, right? And all that. And Mark Fisher's like, dude, nobody knows about you. You need to come talk to these people, come talk to this people. You need to do this. I got on, I met some of my good friends, my best friends at the time. I mean, one of them's still my best friend, and met some friends at a Control 4 deal with Toll, right? That's when I met it was Control 4 deal. I believe I didn't meet him yet, but it was Eric Roden, which he's no longer with us, at E4 California, and Jim Shapiro. I met them at an event in Austin, and me and Jim are buddies ever since. Our families hang out, all that. Yeah, I miss Eric. Eric was a good dude, a very smart guy. Yeah, so we were all good friends and we talked and stuff. And then that group, Mark introduced me to the other groups I'm in the thread with, and all them guys are awesome. I mean, if you're young and you want to be the best at what you do, you need to listen to other people, listen to other groups, find your people, and surround yourself by smart guys, smarter guys than you, not just in your company, but who you do life with, who you talk to, because I mean, doing what we do, being an owner of this, right? And again, I don't like the word owner. I don't like any of that. Again, if God put you ahead of your group, it's your responsibility to surround yourself with the best people possible. And and I learned more. I probably number one, I told you about the numbers, right? I learned more about numbers in this last year than I've ever had in my life. Well, I've learned more about the business in the last 10 years that I've belonged to that group, right? And started knowing these people. And and I would I would not be where I am today or even striving to be who I'm trying to strive. I haven't even touched the surface that where I want to be. And I wouldn't even be that close without that group.
Awesome, awesome advice. I agree. Your network is one of the keys to success for sure. I've got to touch on. I'm mindful of time, but I've got to touch on your fitness journey, John. You and I have been on similar paths. I didn't even know that until just a little
Right.
bit ago. And tell us about this journey that you're on and kind of what it means to you.
Man, I in my fifth when I turned 50, I was the guy that never took his shirt off at the beach, right? Not that guy. I was a big guy. I've always been like that. Like when I was in a pool or I was whatever, right? My kids have never seen me with the shirt off, right? In a pool setting or something like that. They might see me in the house, but I didn't really walk around the house with the shirt off or anything like that. So at 50, I decided to, and of course, my laziness and not doing it. So at 52, I decided to get in the best shape of my life. And I went on a journey to do that. So I did. I mean, I don't have a problem saying I did trizipatide to start it off, right? So at that same time, it was Memorial Day. It'll be 3 years this Memorial Day. I quit drinking.
That's great.
Me and my wife come from alcoholic families. When I was a kid, I swore I never would drink, the world gets you right. World gets you and takes you down paths that you don't want to go down. And I did that for quite a while. So I decided I want to be a better person, better human, better everything. So I went on the journey of that and I started going to CrossFit I found like real people at CrossFit and my CrossFit gym is like, I don't, again, I wouldn't be where I'm at now without that group and my men's group that I belong to as well. And I went through that, decided I dropped 80 pounds,
Wow.
85, I dropped about 85, I was about 310. And my lowest I got here was about 215. And I'm sitting at about 235 right now. And I've been in this for a while. So I'm trying to, again, be in my best shape. Again, Brad Larkin, Mark Fisher, uh, um, you got all Pete, all them guys, Lee, all them guys are part of it, right? And we
It's a
that
motivational group there.
yeah, well, yeah, no, we have a text group where we all talk business, and then there's also a text group we talk fitness. Like Palmer, my God, that man, and I'm talking about Chris Palmer,
Yeah.
and dude, he's a very motivational guy and all that stuff, and it's been good to watch them guys. I mean, because they chime in every day, they work out and all that stuff, and they chime in on you. And again,
What's
I,
your routine look like? Like
uh,
on a given business day and weekend, just high level.
high level, I'm eating 5 days a week. I mean, 5 times a week. Sorry, 5 days a week. 5 times a week. So I'm doing about 6 ounces of everything, protein and stuff. Keeping lean, low carb. I wake up at about 3:30. Actually, no, 4:30 Dallas time. And I go to the gym. I'm there about 5:30. I don't leave till about almost 8. And what I'll do is I do a CrossFit workout and then I'll do weights.
Okay.
So I do that about
Like a
5.
hit, cardio type workout, and
Yeah,
then you do
depending
the
on
weight.
what it is. If there's not a lot of cardio, then I'll hit cardio at night. I try to do that. When I first started, man, I was doing 2 days, man, day and night.
You were in it to win it.
Dude, I was not playing, but that might help. Got on TRT at the time too, and I was like,
Oh, so
yeah,
you were lit. You were full of
I was
energy.
going to run through a wall one way or another. So Yeah, it was definitely definitely you felt indestructible. But I mean, I think also, man, to be honest with you, I think that people don't see themselves right in your day to day. You don't see how you are projecting yourself in life, and I feel like I've been just going through the motions for about 7 years now, right? I haven't been out hunting. I haven't been out trying to grow business because we already had business, right? I mean, I didn't really start doing that. I had other people that grew business. Now, now I'm back, and I am going out in business, and I'm going out and meeting people and doing all that, and it's kind of what how I grew it. Right now, I'm taking it to the next level with the electrical and all that other stuff because I got big goals for this thing and what I'm doing. So I think being healthy um, has changed my mindset on how I feel about myself and feel about interacting with people more. And don't get me wrong, I still see the. I mean, when I look, I still see the fat guy, right, and all that stuff. But there's something about it. I carry myself better, and it makes me more proud. Although, again, I don't like accolades, and people are like, "Man, you look good. You do this, whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't need to hear that, right?" So, but I enjoy CrossFit. I know people worry about it getting hurt and all that other stuff. It's get the rap it gets. The reason why people get hurt is they do not check their pride at the door. It's okay if you're sitting by and you got a 150-pound girl that's fit and she's doing more weight than you. It is what it is. It is what it is. So you gotta leave it at the door.
Leave your
You
pride at the door.
cannot let the pride. Pride is the reason why people get hurt, right?
Yeah.
It's not if you just are okay, comfortable in yourself and being that, it
Yeah.
is what it is. You'll be fine. But once you let that pride get you, pride is an MFer, man. It'll take you out in more ways than one.
I love it. I love it. I want to close on this, and then we'll give people sign offs and handles on how to get in touch with you, John. I think you and I both would agree. Entrepreneurship is challenging. It's got its ups and downs and everything in between. And through all of that, you've managed to be married for almost 30 years. You have two beautiful daughters. What are kind of your takeaways? How have you managed to make entrepreneurship and running a business work and running a family and staying married to your beautiful bride for so long?
Oh man, I would say that's all on her. I mean, I've drug my family probably through the ringer, right? I mean, I'm the guy that doesn't put his phone down. I'm the guy that answers every call. Somebody calls me, I answer it day or night. It doesn't matter. Um, so there's a lot of probably regret there, right? And everything. I have I probably could have been no, not probably I could have been a better husband, a better father. I would if I'm again talking to the young ones. I mean, it's never too late, right? But you work life balance has to be there. You have to be able to. It'll be okay if you do not answer that one call the first time, right? So, I mean, I would.
Are you better at that today, John?
No, no, old dogs and new tricks don't work.
So is this a do what I say, don't do what I do?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no. Yeah, let me say that. I mean, I'm better at it now because I have people that I trust that do it right. If I was in a smaller business and I'm doing most of it, it'd be hard for me to do it right because I couldn't trust what it is. I have surrounded myself and grown up with a lot of really awesome individuals that have stepped up and stepped in. And now that I'm treating this like a business, they're also treating it like a business, and the people are stepping up and doing things. So, there's a lot of things that do not get to me. Um, which I don't like, but it's a nature of growing. I just do love big, live big, and do good. So
We're gonna close on that, John. That's awesome. Thank you for coming on the show, man. This was a lot of fun.
I appreciate the invite. I mean, it was definitely it was, and I don't really talk about my story. I mean, the majority of the guys on my text thread and all that know it, right? But man, if I could help anybody and take something away, and give somebody something, a snippet, and help somebody, then it was well worth one person, right? That's all it takes.
I'm putting across the screen here the website. It's multimedia solutions group.com. Is it okay if we give out your cell phone, John? That's
Sure. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the best way to get me.
Best way to get you. Are you do you answer the phone or should people text you? What's the best way?
Either. Hey, as long as your thing doesn't come across spam risk, and then we'll be okay.
Yeah, if it comes across spam, it's not getting answered.
Nope.
All
You
right,
leave a
that
voicemail and I'll call you back.
there you go. All right, so that cell phone is 469-628-1275. You can call John direct. And John said he was okay with his email. So that's john at multimediasolutionsgroup.com. So, John, I just want to thank you one more time, man. Thanks for coming on Automation Unplugged and sharing so openly. I know there's a lot of people that are going to get a lot out of this.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the invite for sure.